It's time to recap my trades from the week of April 20th. So unfortunately, it was a red week. I took 10 trades total across both accounts. I placed 8 on my main account. I only won 3 of them, unfortunately, and I'm down 16 points, which isn't horrible. And then my other account, I lost both trades. So overall, my win rate's 30%, which is just not where it needs to be for me to be profitable. I made some mistakes this week. I also took quite a few, I feel like I want to say experimental trades, which really over the past few weeks is what I've been doing. Like, I have trade ideas. I generally know when I'm looking for a long, when I'm looking for a short, but things like how close does it need to be to my level before I can try an entry? Where does my stop need to go? Like, things like that I've still been experimenting with. Also, like the candle. What candle is a good signal for an entry? So definitely still some experimenting going on. After this week, though, I feel like I have a really good set of rules that I'm hoping will help me. So Monday, I started off with, once again, I made a mistake on my zone. So this was a zone I chose not to put in. I saw it, I put it in at first and then removed it. And so this has happened before where I feel like the zone's not strong enough. My lesson learned is to leave it in. It doesn't matter. It's better to just be on the more conservative side. And if I left it in, I would have been looking for a short. Instead, I was looking for a long. So I took a losing trade there. If I had drawn my zone correctly, maybe I would have taken the trade. Honestly, also maybe I wouldn't have. I'm not sure. It would have been a small move. It would have just been 40 points, not the whole thing here. So I took a loss. I then took a long right here based off the reaction from Asia High. I was looking for a long off Asia High, and I did have a winning trade there, which offset my loss and put me into small profit on this account. I then took a trade. In retrospect, the entry was not great. I entered back here, and this is what I would say was kind of experimental. Like, this did not get to this level close enough. I remember thinking if I had not entered here, I probably would have entered right here. And it wouldn't have worked either way. The trade lost. This was on my other account. So I had a small profit on my main account and then 2 losses on my second account. I tried a long here, failed. And then I tried a long back here, and it also failed. I thought both trades, well, the entry here was no good, but this entry I thought looked okay. Same with here. This is also kind of experimental as far as like the type of candle that I'm looking for to take an entry. If I didn't enter here, my other area to enter would have been down here, and that trade would have worked. So I think I've got some rules based on this, and I think a trade from Wednesday on the type of candles I'm looking for to take entries. So I'm hoping that will help me in the future. Sort of reining in very more specific reactions and candlestick patterns, I guess. Tuesday I took a winning trade. I only took one trade. And it was pretty late in the day. It was past 9 o'clock. This is when I'm starting to be like, maybe I should get off the charts. But price was moving here, so I took a short here. I got a little bit lucky on not getting stopped out. I got close right here. I was maybe 9 or 10 points from getting stopped out. But I got lucky because it's just because I got a good entry. So I don't think I would have actually put my stop quite that high. I'm not sure. But when I get a good entry, my stop, it's wider, and then I just leave it. I never tighten my stop. I know some people have differing opinions on that, but sometimes it helps me out. I get it sometimes, like in this case, like if I had put my stop where just behind this candle, I would have gotten stopped out. So sometimes it helps me out, so I let it be. This was a really tough trade though. It went in my favor. First off, I got close to getting stopped out. It went in my favor, put me into either break even or drawdown, I'm not sure. Went in my favor again. I got very close to TP here. I think I was like 6 points from TP. My TP was 71 points. I created a rule for myself to not do break even unless I'm extremely close. And by that I mean like 2 points. If my take profit is less than 80. Because for me, seeing myself get stopped out at break even and then seeing it go to my TP is very annoying and frustrating. So I learned to just leave it, like set it and forget it basically. If my TP is higher than that, then I'll move to break even, because at that point, that's a pretty significant move. I went back into drawdown again, and then again for a fourth time. This time I definitely thought I was getting stopped out before it hit TP back here. This trade was an hour and a half. The whole time I wanted to close it. I was fighting my inner dialogue of like, just close it, just take your profits. This isn't moving the way you expected. Normally this type of trade, I'm basically looking for it to come down pretty quickly instead of chopping like this. But the thing is, for me, what I've learned is that if I close it early and then see it go to TP, I would have been so annoyed with myself, because I've learned this lesson before. Where I closed early and then it went to TP, and it's just so painful for me. I feel like I need that win. I need that 70 points. My win rate is not strong enough to close early for 20 or 30 points. And I've got to just sit through it and trust my analysis and my back testing. The only thing that kind of kept me in this feeling like, I won't say strong conviction, but once price is trading below a low like this, and this is part of my strategy. So we've got all three, London, Asia, and Globex. Price will often trade below it. So that's why I have like a retest strategy. That's why I'm looking for shorts off lows. And so once we were here, it's just an idea, right, that price could keep falling and trade below the low. So that is what happened. I got 71 points on that trade. Wednesday, I took a loss. I only took one trade. There was no other setups for me. I tried a short right here. It is almost exactly the same thing as a setup from Monday that did work. And this is part of what makes trading so hard, and like learning from losses so hard, is that sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And it's hard to like trust yourself on your trades. But I think after this week, I'm basically going to nix this like candle pattern. I think it's not strong enough. So yeah, I'll just not take it again, hopefully. What I was hoping to see was price come up, break the zone, come down, and then move off, and then I would take a long. Kind of what happened last week. Didn't happen though. It didn't break over the zone here. So that's a no trade for me, unfortunately. So yeah, just the one loss. Thursday, I took two trades. It was a max loss day. I took a short here. I got stopped out by about 10 points before it went to TP. This was definitely annoying, because I came in on this candle, but if I had come in on this candle, I would have won. So I often struggle with like, how do I know when to really enter? Especially like in this case, the rejections look exactly the same. And it doesn't always come to the level exactly perfectly. But I have an idea. I have a new rule I'm going to use, which will hopefully keep me a little bit safer. But yeah, in retrospect, and this is part of what I'm going to hopefully try to do moving forward, my stop would be above this level, and then I would have been safe. I then took a long back here. I thought it was fine. I didn't really see anything wrong with it, but it didn't work. Friday, I entered 2 trades, tried to get in a third, didn't get filled. So I took a long right here. This is another example of sort of like an experimental trade as far as like how close to my levels does price need to move before a trade is valid. So this didn't quite get there. I was looking for a long off previous day high, Asia high, similar to the idea I was saying where when price is below a low, it will often like stay below there. And when it's above a high, it will trade above. That's just from my observations, but it does help me with looking for trades. So we were trading above, previous day high, Asia high, I was looking for a long. I then entered here, and that trade did win, which made up for my loss and put me into a small profit. And then that was like 50 some points. I don't know, I did my stop correctly. I almost got stopped out. I was less than 5 points from getting stopped out. And then back here, I tried to enter right here. It did win, but I did not get filled. So I tried to be more conservative on my stop on this trade, and that means I didn't get filled. So I definitely struggle with finding the balance of like wanting to get filled on a trade versus like being more conservative and risk not getting filled, you know, and potentially see a winning trade go without me. But then if I'm not conservative, sometimes I get stopped out and have the trade go without me, like what happened here. So finding the balance between the two is really hard, because I feel like I get frustrated when I don't get filled, because I feel like if the trade won, I have this feeling of like, man, I really needed that trade. I really needed that win. What do I do next time to make sure I get in the trade, you know? But I think I need to reframe my thinking a little bit and tell myself it's okay. I need to be more conservative with my stop. It's better to be flat, to be zero, than to get stopped out. So that's what I'm trying to reframe my thinking a little bit. I feel like I do have some lessons learned from this week as far as where price needs to move before I can take a trade. Also the type of candle patterns I'm looking for to take an entry, where my stop needs to go. I feel like I have a really solid set of rules. And part of what, you know, it's been frustrating because I feel like I've had a solid set of rules for a really long time, and I just keep tweaking it every week. But, you know, I did take a lot of trades that I was experimenting with. So my goal for next week is to stop experimenting. I know what is a good trade. I know if it's probably not a great trade. And now I've gotten a little more specific also on the candle patterns that I'm looking for. And then there's some I'm just going to nix. So I have more specific and clear rules on that starting next week. And then also a rule on my stop. Oh, that's another thing about this trade. I didn't do my stop correctly. It doesn't matter. Even if I did, the trade wouldn't have worked. But that is something I didn't do correctly. It is so, in the moment, it is so hard to like think of everything at the same time. I'm thinking about like, where does my TP need to be? Where do I need to get filled in order to have a good risk to reward to hit that TP? Where does my stop need to be? And it's all at once when that candle's forming. And so it's just so hard. So yeah, those are my trades from the week. I do give myself an A+ on entering on my trade ideas. That was a huge problem for me for a long time. So I feel like I don't think there was a single trade idea that I hesitated on. I think I took every trade idea. So now I need to kind of rein it back. I need to create really clear rules, which I feel like I've done. Specific rules on which trade ideas are, or which, not the trade idea, but the signal, like the entry signal. which ones are really good and clear and which ones aren't. So I think that is the next piece I'm working on. I think I have it. It's just a matter of actually executing per that plan. So yeah, those were my trade recaps. Obviously, as always, I'm hoping next week will be better. I hope you had a good trading week, and I will catch you in the next video.